Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin, and we just want to remind people to stay grounded in these markets. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Also, check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Why am I putting out this video? Well, this video is primarily geared to new people in the space. If you've been here a long time, you guys know the drill. You know that while everyone is saying that things are going to definitely go up in the short term, and that certainly is the way things seem, there's always a chance we get a substantial pullback, more than people might expect. We've seen that happen 1,000 times before. And I think some of us take it for granted that everyone else knows that as well. What I've experienced myself, especially doing live streams and stuff late at night, especially when we're having these dips, the people that are the most vocal during these sort of local bottoms, they're the people that were buying up here, because those are the people that are hurting the most. So when you hear people say things like 70K by the end of March, or 100K by April, or 100K by May, or 200K by July, a lot of these people have sizable positions in Bitcoin, and especially these content creators, right? They have sizable positions, and they're not going to necessarily be hurting if it drops 30%, because they're in it for the long haul, and they recognize that even if there is a correction, it's just going to be, it's likely a bump in the road to a much higher valuation of the price of Bitcoin. But I think the people that don't that sort of take what these people say as like the truth, the end all be all truth, these are the people that tend to hurt the most when there are corrections, because what happens is they end up buying up here, and we know that if they just held, they would have been okay. But a lot of these guys end up selling over here, right? They're those they just panic sell because they see it drop 30%, and they invested more than they can afford to lose. In the same way, we're talking about Bitcoin up here, and I did a live stream at this point, and there were so many people that were panicking like crazy. Actually, I did the live stream up here, and there were so many people panicking like crazy because it was only a 3% drop at the time. So I would say to always be cautious in these markets. We do not want to act deterministically. I've always said that in bull markets, the most likely direction obviously is up. Momentum is hard to stop, but that doesn't mean it won't stop at some point and cool off for a while. So while I would agree the probability of moving up is higher than the probability of sustainably moving down, I want people to remain grounded in the idea that while it seems like the likely direction is up, we know that it's not necessarily the direction we go in the short term. We could always have corrections back down, and these corrections are what will take new people off guard. So if you're new to the space, you should recognize that we could have sizable corrections along the way, regardless of whether institutional investors are pouring in. And we had institutional investors pouring in, and it didn't stop us from correcting 31%. And by the way, before we corrected 31%, I had a lot of people on my YouTube channels at this point saying that the days of 30 to 40% corrections are over because institutions are buying. And you can see that simply was not true. And even recently, we had a correction that took us from 58K down to 43K or so, which was a 26% correction. So we know that these corrections can still exist. We haven't had a 40% correction yet this market or this bull market. I mean, obviously, we had this market cycle if you look at some of these moves, but we probably will. At some point, we probably will. And I don't want new people to take to the bank the idea that every single month the price of Bitcoin will go up another 50% or 100%, because while it can happen for a while, it will stop at some point. And I just don't want the new people coming into the space to just get carried away and think that it only will ever go up. Though it does seem like, it seems like that's mostly what it's done for the last five months or so, at least since October. So just something to keep in mind. Now, if we did have a sizable pullback, which we've discussed before, and we've not yet had one this cycle, except for right here, which took us to the 20-week, a sizable correction to the 20-week would certainly scare a lot of people. Okay, we have not had that yet. we did have this correction here, which was about a 20% correction or so to the 20-week moving average. If we were to correct to it now, it probably would imply a 40% correction or so, depending on how long it were to take us to get there. Now, with that said, again, I will contend that there's a decent probability that we do move up, like a lot of people are calling for. I've also lived through enough of these market cycles to recognize that when everyone's calling for something to happen, there's plenty of times where that doesn't happen. Back in 2019, a lot of people were calling for it to go to 20K imminently, and it took it another year and a half. In 2017, a lot of people were calling for a 25K, 30K imminently because it seemed like all Bitcoin ever did was go up, and it took it another 3 years. So just because everyone's saying it doesn't necessarily mean it has to happen like that. Again, I'm on board if we can go to 70 or 80K in the short term, right? I'll sign up for that for sure. But I just want to make sure that new people recognize that there is no sure thing in these markets and that you always have to be prepared for the downside risk. And the downside risk in a bull market, at the very least, is our bull market support band, which today ranges from 29,709 up to 32,402. And note that it is increasing every single week. We probably should also update where we are in terms of the 50-day moving average. Let me pull this up on the daily time frame. So let's look at the 50-day and see where we are. So if we had a correction, say we don't go to the 20-week, but say we were to go to the 50-day, where is it right now? Well, right now it corresponds to 42,588. So we have systematically watched it move above the prior local top that we had in early January. So you can see it's above that now. So remember, the reason why we're looking at the 50-day as a potential support region in the event of a drop is because that is where we found support last time. It doesn't mean we would find support there, but that is where we found support last time. Note that whenever we do have a drop to the 20-week, it's going to scare a lot of people and it's going to shake a lot of people out. When that happens, I would say don't be scared. Whenever it happens, whether it happens this month or the next month or the month after that, don't be scared. I don't think there's really too much to worry about. We want to see if we can hold the line. And by the way, even if we can't hold the line, I still think we're in terms of the grand market cycle, even if we were to enter, say, like a cool down period where we're trading below the 20-week moving average, I don't think it's going to last for like a year or 2 years, or I don't think we're going to go and say like a 1-year bear market followed by like a 1-year accumulation phase or anything like that. But we have to recognize that you can have cool down phases where things pull back for a while, there's a reaccumulation phase, and then we trend back up. So be prepared for it. I'm not saying you need to wish for it, but I'm saying just be prepared for it. And if it does happen, you'll know, okay, well, this was something that we knew could happen, and now it has happened, and then therefore we can take advantage of it. So don't let your emotions rule you. Don't necessarily think that just because everyone's saying something, it has to come true, even though, of course, there's a decent probability it will come true, because whoever, anyone saying that the price of Bitcoin will go up each and every week, over the last 5 months, they've been right a lot more often than they've been wrong. And this is what we keep saying, right? It's hard to fight momentum. It is really hard to fight momentum. It can trend up a lot longer than anyone may think. And then when it corrects, it can trend down further than a lot of people may think. Anyways, with that in mind, if you guys like the content, remember to subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. We also have the premium list sale. You can find a link to that in the description below. Check it out. I'm going to end the sale in about 9 days. So if you want to lock in the lower rate, make sure you sign up now. You get access to the weekly reports and videos, the Telegram alerts channel, the Telegram chat room, the risk dashboard, the trading view indicators, and more. So make sure you guys check it out, lock in the lower rate before the prices go back up. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.